Hey, welcome again. This is Jeff Barnes with Angel Investors Network. Thanks so much for being here. I have I'm sorry, I can't even talk today. I've got an incredible guest today who's going to be coming to us live in Nashville at the Business Wealth Summit. I want to introduce you all to Herb Flight Time Lang. Herb, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks a lot, Jeff and Khalid, for allowing me to be on your platform. I'm definitely looking forward to Nashville, looking forward to making connections and seeing, who I get to bring value to.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, I'm really excited about this because I actually grew up watching you when, in the 90s, I got a chance to go to one of the Globetrotters events, and it was just like blew my mind. I was like 10, 12 years old at that point. And you have a really cool claim to fame. You were the 98 NCAA dunk champion, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, that's correct. I came from the smallest Division I school in the country at that time, which was Centenary College, and my coach at the time, Billy Kennedy, he snuck me into the event, and I ended up winning, which was a great opportunity for me to represent myself, my family, and my school. It also helped me get on with the Globetrotters eventually, just being on that national stage.
That's awesome. Yeah, and you spent a couple days there, right? You were with the Globetrotters for a little bit. So tell us about that. Like, what was that experience like for you?
Well, for me, growing up in a small town in Arkansas, I, like a lot of kids, I dreamed of playing sports. I dreamed of entertainment. I dreamed of a lot of things. And for me, the Globetrotter thing is something that happened, and it came as a result of somebody believing in me more than I believed in myself. It was my roommate at the time who actually played college soccer at Centenary. He actually went to a Harlem Globetrotter game, and after the game, he came home, and I came home from work, and he was super excited. He had this program saying, "Man, I just went to the Globetrotters game. I think that you could play for him," but I couldn't even spin the basketball on my finger at this time. But about 2 weeks later, I did take that 1-800 number. I called them. I ended up sending in a video of my game highlights, and they knew me from the dunk contest. So that launched me to the Globetrotters after winning that dunk contest in '98, and then again with my friend believing in me more than other people believed in me.
That's so true, right? Yeah. Having somebody else that's going to be pushing you from behind, even though you didn't know you could do something, obviously completely changed the trajectory of your life. I'd imagine. I mean, can't imagine what else you would have been thinking about doing. But like you said, it wasn't necessarily going to the Globetrotters at that point, right?
Yeah, I mean, at that time, my initial kind of plan was to go overseas and play professional basketball. During the time I came out in '98, the NBA had a lockout. But for me, I'm real big on, starting something and finish it. And my high school basketball coach was somebody who instilled this in me. So I had another half semester of school left. So I ended up going back to school and finished up my teaching degree in health and physical education. Then I worked as a personal trainer before I actually joined the Globetrotters. So these are experiences that really made me value once I got to this opportunity and began to travel to different parts of the world, parts that I've dreamed about and read about in history lessons back in school and in geography.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah. It's kind of funny. My wife and I were actually just talking about this, going to school and learn about all these things, all these different cultures and all around the world and all this history. But a lot of it doesn't become real for us until we go and visit that, right? Until we actually see it in person. So do you have a memory of one of those instances where it's like, man, this is really cool to see this and be a part of that and experience it?
Yeah, I would have to say, the Eiffel Tower. I would have to say that was one of my cool experiences because I actually remember growing up, I think it was the late '80s or early '90s when the first McDonald's like opened up in like Europe or in Paris. And to be able to go to Paris and, kind of feel that sense of, I think it was probably 20 years later that I had a chance to go there. And then I have a chance to go, see the Eiffel Tower, Notre Dame, all these different places that I studied about. For me, really just it inspired me to tell other people the importance of getting out and seeing things on your own. Because before 1999, I hadn't traveled abroad. I'd just been used to watching television, believe everything that I've seen on the news. But once I began to travel abroad, my perspective began to change. I began to, do a little bit more research and encourage other people to do the same. Because like you said, it doesn't really become real until you actually set foot, in those grounds or those lands that you've been doing the research on.
Yeah, absolutely. And just looking about your career and, you spent 18 years with the Globetrotters. You were everything from a player. It sounds like you were a coach. And I'm assuming, because I remember this when I was, watching this long time ago now, but a lot of motivational stuff too, right? Like it wasn't just about playing basketball anymore.
Well, yeah, one of the important things about being a Harlem Globetrotter is that it's more than just about the game of basketball. If you want to play, a long time like me, 18 years, and you have to be able to do more things. You have to be good with the media. You have to be good with the kids. You have to be a good ball handler. You have to just, be a leader, and you can't make excuses. So these are things that I know that were instilled in me at a young age through my parents and grandparents. And these were all things I was able to, incorporate in my career, which led me to having opportunities to do things such as coach, having opportunities to be on television shows like CBS's The Amazing Race 3 times, having a chance to be on Hell's Kitchen, Price is Right, Are You Smart in the Fifth Grade? All these things would not have happened if I had not, again, hadn't prepared myself for them. And that preparation began many years ago, in elementary school, high school, and then throughout my college career. It's even when I talk to young athletes about speaking in front of a group of people, find your favorite athlete, pattern your the way that you talk after them, work on your interviews, because you won't be able to play forever, but you'll be able to use this mouth as long as God gives you a voice.
I love that. That's great. And with all of that, a lot of experience, like you said, being on The Amazing Race, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? What was your favorite or maybe most terrifying experience in all of that, going on TV, being a part of this, right? Because I think a lot of people watch this like, oh, man, that'd be so cool. Some of us are like, me, man, I could totally do that. And then there's other ones I see, I'm like, nope, never going to do that. Not going to touch it. Not going to happen.
Well, I'll give you two answers to that. The first most terrifying thing was the fact that you could be the first person to be eliminated from the race and to have to go back and deal with your teammates when that was over with. But once you actually, get to be on the show, I'd say one of my toughest experiences, I had a situation in India where we had to remember the taste of a tea from another country, which was a couple of days before. We were thinking that there's no way this is going to come up. Why are they making us stop at this location? We're on our way to India. So we stopped, we had some tea and went to the airport. Little did we know when we got to the next event, the next challenge, that we would have to remember the taste of that tea. It took me about 2.5 hours, probably about a couple hundred glasses of tea, a little bit of projectile vomiting before I actually figured it out. But I didn't give up. I kept going, and it happened. But there's a lot of amazing things that happened during the course of that whole entire experience, and even the people that you get to meet along the way. Again, a couple of those people actually in Nashville. I hope that you guys get a chance to meet them when we come down for the event. But it's all about connection. It's about being a part of the team. Just like I was a Globetrotter, hey, that's my team. Just like I was on The Amazing Race, those people are a part of my team. I just got back 3 months ago from the UAE, cycling through Dubai, 7 days and 7 Emirates, where we rode through different parts of the UAE, promoting unity, diversion, inclusion, sustainability, and tolerance. So for me, that's what it's all about. I've seen the world, and I know that my gift and my number one responsibility is to make sure that I give back and make this world a better place, because I've seen it, a lot of it.
Awesome. I love that. Well, and that takes us to what you're doing today, right? Because like you were saying, we were talking about this before we went live here, it's about branding. It's about building a brand and building something that's bigger than yourself, right? And you've come up with this incredible brand, which is Kindness is Free. Tell us how that came about.
Yeah, so for me, I played again for the Globetrotters for 18 years, and one of the most, I think, impactful things was relationships that I developed with, the people within the organization, like the people that don't necessarily get all the hip parade and all that, but the merchandise people. They shared a lot with me. I learned about the numbers. I learned about, buying things from different parts of the world and, the cost. And, these experiences have kind of launched this. It's important to brand yourself. There were several of my teammates who, after they left the Globetrotters, they wanted to go into different speaking, but they would always show up in their, Globetrotter stuff, and the Globetrotters didn't really like that. So I knew that from being in there. So for me, I created my own brand, and for the past 5 years, that's what I'm doing. So the same way that you see people rocking Nike and Adidas, I'm rocking Swag Ball, and I'm rocking Kindness is Free. And there's more to come from this. There's more to come with this. It's just the beginning.
That's awesome.
I love it.
So I think you'll be pleased to know we're bringing one of the biggest branding and licensing guys to the stage in Nashville. His name's Bernd Ullman, and he's worked with guys like Tommy Hilfiger. He's part of Tommy. Damon John worked with him. He's launched brands like J-Lo, Nicki Minaj, Mark Anthony, Steven Tyler. They didn't launch their careers, of course, but helped launch their apparel and their clothing line. So there's going to be a lot of fun stuff to talk about with you there.
That's pretty cool, because I don't know if you knew this, but back in early 2000s, Platinum FUBU, David Johns, and all those guys, they were the apparel sponsor of the Globetrotters. So I have some old velour FUBU, Platinum FUBU gear laying around my house. But yeah, again, I learned through that. Even the FUBU, the branding during the time I was with the Globetrotters, there's those 3 or 4 years and some of the things that went on as a result of that, which we can discuss at another time. I'll share with you guys, but that's what it's all about. I'm a kind of person that I watch, I observe, my teammates, some of my coaches, they call me the Xerox because I can watch something, I can figure it out. And that's kind of funny because my dad actually worked for Xerox as a copy repairman for about 15 years. But I just love, being able to show people that anything is possible. We can do anything if we put our mind to it. I'm not just a basketball player. I ski, I scuba dive, I water, whatever it is that a human can do, I feel like I can do it. And I want to encourage other people to unlock their gifts and do what they can as well, because you don't know what you can do until you do it.
Absolutely. Well, and it started with one thing, right? All of that stuff you just talked about. Like, let me ask you, did you ever think about when you were a kid, like, hey, you know what? I want to go ski. I mean, living in Arkansas, I can't imagine there's too many ski slopes there, right? Not a lot of great scuba diving from what I've heard. Like, did you think that's what you wanted to do when you were a kid?
Not at all. Look, I was scared to fly. I was scared to get on the plane. I remember the first time I actually got on the plane, I was flying from Dallas, from visiting my dad through the summer, and he wasn't going to drive me back. And he told me like 3 days before that I had to fly. I cried for 3 days straight because I did not want to get on that plane. And then you fast forward now, or to my Globetrotter career, I became Flight Time. That's my nickname as a person who jumps. And also my dad, when it comes to swimming, I was afraid of water. But when I went to Dallas, he taught me how to swim. So now I'm able to scuba dive and all these things. So he unlocked a lot of things that, bring me a great amount of joy today. So I just think it's important that we, continue to move no matter what age we are. We continue to dream. We remember the things that we dreamed about when we were young. I had a dream to become a professional basketball player, but I had other dreams too. And, I have a couple of kids and they didn't really get to see everything that I did, with the Globetrotters. So it's a part of my mission right now to let them know that I worked hard to become a professional basketball player, but I'm also working hard to make the world a better place and to become a really great entrepreneur and a connector as well.
I love that.
And you know what, Herb, I want to say a great mentor. Because right now our athletes, I think that they suffer in the sense of like, what am I going to do after sports? What am I going to do? And you are like the superstar all-time, person to explain that to them. So I really am looking forward to talking about that at the event.
Well, as a part of, the National Basketball Retired Players Association, we represent over 1,500 former NBA, WNBA, ABA, as well as Harlem Globetrotters, and a part of that is it's about, having a place to go when it's all over with. Because for me, when I got that call in 2017, I didn't have anywhere to go, really. I didn't have, I had friends to talk about, but with having the Retired Players Association and now serving on the Memory Service Committee for the last 3 years, I know how much value it's been for me to be able to be in a space with former people, former athletes. And Jeff, probably from being in the military, it's nice to be around people that have had similar experiences to yourself. It makes you feel good. So just trying to grow that membership, get many people as I can, my former teammates involved, because a lot of times we go home and we give up, but we can't give up. We get to keep going. They say it's over, but I say it's not over until I say it's over.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, and we talk about this, exposure breeds expansion, right? And if you don't get exposure to those new things out there, you're not going to know what's even available to you, right? So whether it was you going into Globetrotters and somebody telling you about that, you had to get exposed to that. If you had your dad or your coach pushing you in a certain direction, and then ultimately being on the Globetrotters, exposure to new cultures and what's possible, what's available out there. And then, even as much as going to events like what we're putting on, where you get exposure to new ideas, new people, and people that have gone to places that you want to be, right? And I think that's really, really important for a lot of folks to understand, is that if you don't expose yourself to new ideas, to new cultures, to new people, and you continue to live in a little bubble, especially if that bubble is really small and very narrow-minded, like a town that I came from, then it's really, really hard to break out of that and breed that greatness that you really want. So, kudos for you. I think it's awesome. I can't wait to see you in Nashville, hear more of your story, and get you on that panel talking about, business in sports and business after sports as well.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a great month. I'm looking forward to the end of the month. I'm counting down the days, and just really looking forward to meeting you guys and connecting and, just seeing where we get to go from here.
Awesome.
Excited,
Wonderful.
man. That's awesome.
Thanks so much, Herb. So for those of you out there that are watching, we're going to be hosting the Business Wealth Summit in Nashville, Tennessee, May 29th through 31st. If you're interested, just go to angelinvestorsnetwork.com and check out our events. And then, of course, we'll put it here in the comments as well. And for those of you who are still watching, type Nashville in the comments to enter a chance to win a VIP ticket. And we look forward to seeing you guys there. Take care.